Joining me now to discuss and dig in a little bit deeper is Dominic Romano, a business and technology law attorney, and Kara Frederick, Heritage Foundation tech fellow and a former Facebook Intel analyst. Dominic, I want to go ahead and start with you and talk about the legality here, because there was a lot of conversation today. Twitter is going to essentially drag Elon Musk to court, that there's a specific performance clause in the contract. They are going to try to compel him to buy the company. The other side, of course, the Elon Musk side and his camp is going to say, essentially, you're lying about crucial data, not just to me, but to the SEC as well. And that could cause and open a whole can of worms for Twitter management.
Yeah, Twitter seems pretty confident that Elon Musk is laughing a bit too loud in his post there, in the photos that he shared. And they seem confident that they have a good argument for specific performance. They said they've delivered a fire hose of information to Mr. Musk, and it remains to be seen whether they're successful in forcing specific performance, forcing Musk to buy Twitter.
I'm wondering what you think about the metric that he's looking at, the bots, right, and how they're estimating it. I imagine if I was Twitter, you could say there's some margin of error here. There's some, we can't know exactly how many bots there are. And so as a result of that, if they were giving a good faith estimate, does that put them in a better position, Dominic?
Generally, yes. I mean, look, one argument that Musk might have is that there's some fraudulent misrepresentation here. But then Twitter would have a bigger problem, not just with Musk, but also with the SEC. They're saying that they've provided all the information. The number of bots is about 5%. Now, if it would be incumbent upon Musk, in order to get out of this deal, to show some kind of evidence to the contrary.
Yeah. Kara, I want to get your thoughts on what you think is happening here, how it's playing out. Some people say Musk is crazy like a fox, and he's probably got a plan in place. This is a man who's an innovator and a visionary, and there's no way that he can lose here. And others say, sometimes he makes stupid decisions, and this could potentially be one of them. What I've been saying, thinking about this all along, all over the weekend, is that, he wanted to make a point about Twitter, free speech, censorship, all these things. In some ways, he's done that. He doesn't really need the company anymore or to try to turn it around. If that was his point, mission accomplished, right?
I think you're exactly right here. What he's done is expose Twitter. He's undermined their credibility. He's shown the world, people who were maybe on the sidelines, conservatives, we've been here all along. We've been screaming to high heaven, hey, these guys are not neutral gatekeepers of information. Now I think the evidence is out there. And yeah, if he wanted a global platform for free speech, he's exposed them and showed them, Twitter ain't it. So yeah, he's won in that regard. We're pretty happy as conservatives, although we really were looking forward to a platform where we could actually have a genuine marketplace of ideas. But he, as you said, mission accomplished in that regard.
And we know that it's going to be a lengthy legal battle, and it's going to be costly, Kara, as well. But having said that, I think the people who lose out or stand to lose the most are Twitter shareholders. I mean, the market has turned. Twitter stock is down. It was down more than 10% again today on all of this news. Twitter's stock price was holding when they thought Elon Musk is going to come in and he's going to turn things around.
Can you change the backdrop?
Kara, your thoughts on the shareholders and how this is going to have an impact on social media companies in general?
Yeah, so the problem here is, as you remember, they had to be dragged kicking and screaming because the shareholders basically said, hey, we're not going to, the board is not doing its fiduciary duty by not taking this agreement. Elon, at $54.20 a share, is paying a premium for Twitter. I think that people recognize, Twitter itself recognizes that if Elon doesn't buy them, then, they are missing out on a lot of money for their shareholders.
Yeah, Kara, Dominic, thank you so much for your expertise and your insight. Great to see you both.